Hello, welcome to Thought for Thursday. I hope that we are connected here. It's saying that I've had a platform to drop, so I'm not sure exactly who I'm on with, but I'm thrilled to be here. Hopefully, you can hear me. And if this does not work, we will go and record separately. But welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Thought for Thursday. And we're talking about the importance of silencing the noise. Yeah, we, as you know, have talked for quite some time about what it means to make sure that you understand where it is that you may be right now and understand if there's someplace else that you want to be, that you're desiring more, that there is another space for you that you have perhaps not tapped into. That's what we're talking about tonight. Understanding, number one, that this is something that you need to look into, something that you deserve to be able to explore further, and then understanding what it is, what it feels like to have that stirring, to have something going on where you know that you want more. You already feel a shift, you already feel a pull towards something. It's kind of a quiet knowing, and there is still, in even it being quiet, there's that whisper that's been getting louder and louder that says, you know what, it's time to do something different. You responded to that noise, perhaps, or perhaps you're just even becoming aware that that's what it's called, that shaking of sorts. But you're knowing at this point that you're standing in the middle, even if you're still wondering, and it's okay if it feels like that. But know that something is happening, right? You know that something is happening. But which way do you go? I feel that a change needs to take place. I feel that I need something different. But where do I go in this process? How do I reckon with this? Why am I not hearing anything? Why am I not feeling, a particular direction that I should pursue? I don't feel it, I don't hear it. And what is it that I can do to understand exactly what is my next step? It's you that I'm talking to tonight. And I want you to tune in for the next 15 minutes because that's what we do on Thought for Thursday. I come to you on Thursday evenings for all of 15 minutes with a pain point, with a dilemma for some, with a question, with an intriguing place to be. And then when you leave here after 15 minutes, you'll have some tools that you can use to help you to deal with that pain point, to give you some solutions, to give you a way to address what it is that you're feeling, a way to address how it is that you can move forward. And that's what we're going to do again in all of 15 minutes. So hang with me as we do that. I've been talking about the awakening tonight, and we've approached that before. It's a part of the identity shift method that I introduced to you months ago now, and we can always talk about even further. But in that beginning stage, it's that awakening that you're someplace that you know you don't need to stay, and you can no longer stay quiet about it. Opinions, you may feel that they're getting louder. Fears may be getting louder. Old voices that have kind of been living rent free in your head forever, for decades, they're getting louder. Well meaning people who believe that they are giving you sound and wise advice are kind of used to that old version of you that you getting louder is starting to refute, and they're not really helping the situation. This is where you are, and you're not hearing the things that you need to hear to help you to get to where it is that you need to be. So, how is it that you can find that quiet space? Today, I'm going to give you 5 tools that you can use in silencing the noise. That's what we're talking about. 5 things that you can do to silence the noise. So, what's one thing that I want to tell you about? Well, one thing is you need to separate the noise from the signal. Not everything you're hearing right now really deserves your attention. And you've got to realize that everything does not deserve your attention. So the first thing you have to do is learn to tell the difference between what's noise and what's a signal. Noise sounds something like this. What will people think? It's too late. You're being selfish. Who do you think you are? That's not practical. You have responsibilities. That's noise. All right. Not to say that you don't have responsibilities, but these kinds of things tend to infiltrate your thoughts right at the wrong times or right in the wrong way so that you cannot hear clearly where it is that you're supposed to be. Signal sounds like this. I keep coming back to this. I wonder why that's happening. Or I feel most alive. I'm inspired most when I'm doing this. You fill in the blank. Something in me keeps pulling me in this direction. Okay, that's signal. I can't explain it, but I know. That's signal. Noise is loud and it's frequently urgent. And it usually comes from outside of you or from most frightened or that most frightened version of you. The signal is a little quieter. It's consistent. It doesn't have a whole panic about it, but it can't be very persistent. And that, is one of the characteristics also of noise. So you have to be able to kind of stand flat footed and feel what it is that is really kind of giving you some direction. So here's your practical tool for this week as we end this week, actually. Take out a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle of the paper, and on one side, write everything you're hearing that creates number one, fear for you, shame or confusion. And on the other side of that line, I want you to write everything that keeps showing up kind of as a quieter, persistent knowing. That exercise that I'm telling you to do right there, that alone is going to show you the difference between what is noise and what is direction. So do that. Do yourself a favor. Sit down and do that. And that, go ahead and make that first step in understanding the difference. What else? What else do I want you to do? All right. Stop asking for permission and ask for discernment. What do I mean by that? You're probably asking everybody and some other people in addition to that, what should I do? Where should I go? How should I proceed? Don't get me wrong, wise counsel is important, but you cannot hear direction in life. For example, if you don't stop moving so that you can hear on your own. And most of us have kind of built lives that are designed to stay in motion because staying in motion means we never have to sit with the discomfort of awakening. That's the reason why a lot of us just keep moving because we have that knowing, we have that awakening that's happened, but we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to really know. We don't want to approach it head on, even if it means it's going to make us better and help us to launch into where it is that we want to go and what it is that we know we should be doing. Here's what you need to understand: the direction you're looking for does not really come um, through noise, period, the end. It doesn't really come through noise, it comes in stillness. And we have to make it a priority to get still. And if you're never still, well, guess what? You're never going to hear. You keep moving, but you'll not be moving toward anything that is actually yours. And that's not a direction we want to go in, right? So you don't need hours, it could be minutes, but get still. Here's a tool. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before the world gets access to your attention, before you start doing emails, before you start playing this, before you start doing that, even before you exercise, no music, nothing. Before you start to plan out your day, no podcast, none of that, no scrolling, just you and your own thoughts. You can sit with a journal nearby, spend some time in prayer, but give yourself 10 minutes before you start your day in stillness. All right. That practice alone is going to redirect you. It is a surefire way of redirecting you. And I use it a lot in my coaching sessions, and it's always delivering. Because in that silence, the real answer really, really starts to surface. All right. And what's the third thing? Pay attention to what keeps showing up. So, what do I mean by that? Pay attention to what keeps showing up. Direction rarely arrives kind of as a dramatic lightning bolt, for example. More often, it kind of, as I've been saying, it really comes quietly, like the signal. The signal is more quiet than the noise. The same idea keeps coming back. That same opportunity kind of keeps presenting itself. The same longing keeps longing, right? No matter how many times you push it down. That repetition that you're feeling, that you're seeing and experiencing, isn't an accident at all. That is direction. The problem is not that you are not getting the direction. All right. The problem is not is that most of us are really so busy managing the noise of daily life that we kind of miss patterns that are right in front of us sometimes. But we are so focused in on the noise that we don't even see them. We look past them to get to the noise. So we're so focused on putting out fires, for example, so focused on making sure that we see all the ideas that are knocking. We see them all. We don't want to miss any of them, when we really should kind of ask for discernment and focus in on those ideas that we really need to hone in on. Here's a practical tool for that, for kind of paying attention to what keeps showing up. So, for the next week or so, for the next 7 days, keep a what keeps showing up kind of journal. Keep a log. And every time a thought or an idea, an opportunity, a longing, an inkling of some sort kind of nudge or appears, write that down. It could just be a few words, date it, and at the end of those 7 days, take a look at that list. The direction is going to start popping out at you. It may not happen right away in 7 days, it could be a few weeks, but it's going to start popping out if you pay attention and look at what the patterns are showing you. All right. What else do I want you to do? Trust the step that you can see. All right. Trust the step that you can see even when you cannot see the whole staircase. And I'm sure you've heard that before. This is the one that really kind of trips us up as women. And I frequently speak to women because that's who I coach. So you want the full picture beyond what you see right in front of you before you can move. I'm guilty. I get it. I understand. You want to know exactly how it's going to unfold, exactly what it's going to cost you, exactly how much time it's going to cost you to the second. All right. And because you can't see all of this, then you can't really stand still and get what it is that you need to get. And standing still in the middle of being awakened, or in this stage that I refer to as the awakening, is can be a very painful place, because in the awakening there's all that's happening. You're trying to get direction and trying to understand, and the last thing that you want to do, just as in the natural sense of things, is to stay still. You feel like you need to move. But keep in mind, you don't have to see the whole picture. It really is okay. You just need to kind of trust the step that's in front of you. Understand that you need to take that step right now before you can even begin to think of getting on the other one. You can't do that long stride. You know how I know as a kid, to climb a bunch of steps, I used to try to, stride or stretch across two or three of them to see if I could skip the first two. And it works sometimes, and other times I would just hurt myself or I'd fall and I just couldn't do it. You need to take one step at a time, not the whole staircase, not the 5 year strategy, not the whole plan, not the fully formed version of where you're trying to go or what you want your life to be, but just the next right step. Perhaps the next right step is just realizing that you're trying to take too many of them at the same time and practice just taking one at a time. That in and of itself is going to help you to be able to move to your next place. All right. Something else. Stop asking for permission. Don't ask for permission. That's not necessary. Stop asking for permission and realize that you are the only one who can give yourself what is needed to move. One of the biggest sources of noise is, um, in the middle of an awakening, it's the people that we love. They can provide the biggest source of noise for us. And what we need to understand is it's okay to be loved. It's okay to have them contribute various things in our lives. But we have to know when it is appropriate to move away, even from the things that we love. We ask our friends, we ask our family, our significant others, our colleagues. Every single person is probably going to give a different answer. Understand that you need to move away from that. For the next few days, starting today, when you feel the urge to ask someone what you should do, pause and first ask yourself, what do I already know? Before you start inquiring from others. Because most of the time, the answer is already in here. All right? You already have it. You're just hoping someone else is going to give you permission to act on it. You give yourself that permission. Stop asking for permission and realize you already have it and move on what's next. So, in this awakening stage, it's not random that it's happening. You didn't stumble into it by accident. It really does require stillness to hear, to feel, to discern where it is you need to go. What's your next step? How should you move? Who's supposed to be there with you? So this week, take some time to separate from the noise. Listen for the signals. Create the time that's necessary to be still and not try to save the world 24/7. Trust the step that you can't see, all right? And know to just step on the one that's the next one for you to go on in order to keep climbing. Your direction is there. Get quiet, listen, and then move. Thanks so much for listening in. I want to encourage you on a few things. One is to join the Journey Society over on my Facebook page. There is a society of women who are dedicated to making sure that people can get to their next step. We're building the community and we've revisited it several times, but I'm trying to make it stronger and stronger, full of women who understand the importance of reinvention and knowing that you don't need to put it off. Until the next time, make sure that you understand the need for quietness. Make sure that you understand that it's never too late to reinvent. And in all you do, make sure that you are focused on being well. Until I see you next time.